It was 2001, and I
Okay.
was going back to school, and the school, they give you a list of this kind of laptop and this kind of calculator and this size sheet for your bed and whatever, whatever. And they sort of nudge you down to the school store. And
Right.
I got there, and I was, I was just a real broke college kid at the time, and the laptop was $1,800 and it was only from IBM because they had a special contract, and everything everything else was just retail price, right? The school store isn't trying to be Costco, so
Right.
so I sat there and I said, there's got to be a better way to do this. Went home, found good deals online, told some friends and said, hey, you really ought to just not get that laptop. But it was actually civil disobedience that really kicked it off. I printed up, I threw everything up on a real basic student homepage and printed up 10,000 flyers and spent the week standing in front of the school store passing out flyers saying, don't shop at the school store, go to this little dinky webpage that I set up. And, just enough people started doing that. And I still remember when, 2 and 5 and 10 people would show up every day, and I would think that was super cool. And it was enough of a impetus to have me keep doing that. And whenever I'd find a good deal, I'd throw it up there and say, hey, here's how I did this, FYI. And at some point the light went on a little more, and and I thought if the people that I knew were interested in this kind of thing, everyone else would too. So why don't I take a step back and build a proper site and try and really take a go at that. And just gradually over time we built up more and more of an audience. And
When the first site was called Deals Dujour?
Yeah.
And when did that launch? What year?
That was actually what I launched when I was still in school. Sort of in the 2001-2002 timeframe, and kept that name for about 3 years. And then at some point, I always thought it was a somewhat clever name, but turns out no one can spell it or say it, much less tell people about it. So there was an inherent liability with it, and the service really was Brad's Deals. So I just thought I'd be literal about it and change the name.
It was part of that, a branding thing, and you become the human face of the company, kind of like a Martha Stewart or a, that sort of thing.
I wish I deserved that much credit for it. I think it was more just having a name that we didn't like. Having the name was it made the service feel sort of impersonal, and in reality the service was super personal. So I thought that people would understand what we were doing a little better if it just said Brad's Deals, and they would think, oh, there's probably this guy named Brad who's doing this, and that was really about the extent of it. I think once you realize how easy this stuff is, and that there is a different approach than just paying retail price, that you won't go back, and it almost becomes less about do you absolutely need to do this to get by, and more about I don't want to be on the wrong side of this transaction, and this is going to take me a minute or two, and it's money that I can put anywhere else in my life, and get more value from than just driving to the mall and overpaying for something.